we live in a time where everything is so publicized, and we live in a time where if you want to go see what a million people are doing with their lives, you can do that. So with that being said, what's going on, guys? It's Breezy. We back with another one, you feel me? Back to back with them. So I want to talk to y'all about why most men in this generation feel so behind, or men, women, you feel me? Why we feel so behind in this generation, right? And I feel like it's not so much of our own doing. I feel like for me, it's not so much of what we're doing in our life, like how we're trying to make our life better, right? Like what is our day-to-day like? What are we trying to do to change our life? What is our diet like? What is our discipline like, right? I feel like it's not even things like that. I feel like the reason most young men feel so behind in their life in 2026 is because social media and how the world is portrayed now, right? Because take this for example, right? You can literally go on YouTube, you can go on Instagram, you can go on all these different websites, right? Social media sites, and you can literally see how a million people are living their life. You can literally see how 10 people are living their life, and that could go from a person that is poor, that could go from a person that is middle class, that could go to a person that is rich, and that could go to a person that is wealthy, right? So when you take all that into consideration and you're flooding your brain with all this artificial dopamine of people, right, of different people, of how they're living their lives, that can literally fuck you up, and that can make you say, damn, what am I doing in my life? Or damn, I must be doing something right in my life because I'm making more money than the 30-year-old or 40-year-old that's homeless on the streets, right? I'm making more money than the guy that's out here chasing women, or that's all he has on his page. He's chasing women. He only shows women, only talks about women, right? Or you're behind the 18-year-old, you're behind the 20-year-old that is making millions of dollars a year, right? You're behind the guy that the freak that has surpassed everybody in his age group at doing a certain skill, and he's pulling in multiple six figures a year, right? And you can do that all within a blink of an eye, and you can go find a successful 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 20-year-old millionaire out there, and you're gonna sit there and ask yourself, well, what am I doing in my life? Why am I not a millionaire, right? And why was I not where this person was, right? And I feel like this can either be a good comparison for you or a bad comparison for you, right? The good comparison will be, well, man, that motivates me to do better in my life. That motivates me to want to propel my life forward faster, right? That propels me to want to learn a new skill, to want to learn a new high-paying job, to want to learn how to become successful, to start reading more books, right? To start doing these things. And the con is you're gonna sit there and ask yourself, and you're gonna sit there and overthink, like, you know, what have I been doing in my life up to this point that has caused me not to get to where I want to get to in life, and why is this person doing way better than me, right? And everybody knows comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will steal your happiness. Comparison will steal your hustle. Comparison will steal your ambition, because you're going to be wanting to give up, because you're going to be like, well, why does this guy deserve this, or why does she get into this position? And a lot of people need to understand this about people, right? That is not luck. That is not luck at all. So when people are comparing their lives to other people, you have to understand that you don't know what that person has been through in their life. You don't know what type of obstacles that person had overcame. You don't know what type of risk that person took in their life. They could have been scamming. They could have been a drug dealer. They could have been doing anything to pit them ahead, to then propel them forward to where they are now in the skill or the trade that they're in, right? So you have to always understand and be mindful that you should never compare yourself to somebody that's doing better than you, because at the end of the day, if you're comparing yourself to other people that are doing better than you, you're distracted, my friend. You are distracted. Male or female watching this, right? You are distracted, and you're distracted because you're so busy worrying about what this person is doing in their life that you can't even focus on your own life for a day. You can't even focus on your own life for a day because you're so worried about this person, this guy or this woman driving a Lamborghini at 21 years old. When if you just shut up and put your head down and locked in for a year or 2 years and study, focus on your mental health, focus on your physical, focus on those things, then you will be able to do that. You will be able to catch up, and you will be that guy 25, 26 years old in the long run in that Lamborghini. You understand what I'm saying? And you gotta stop comparing yourself, because God has a story for every person, right? God has a plan, and God has a story for every human being on this earth, right? And a lot of people have to go through adversity. A lot of people might have it easy, right? A lot of people might just get it because a lot of people might be at the top already because they were born into it. A lot of people might be at the top already because their parents have already accumulated generational wealth for their children, and their children don't have to do nothing, right, for their life. But for the people that actually go through the pain, the people who have nothing and come up from being nothing, those are the people who are going to become successful, more successful than the people who were born into it, because they're going to have that drive. They're going to have the drive to learn that skill. They're going to have the drive to get far ahead in life. They're going to have the drive to get that property. They're going to have the drive to study real estate. They're going to have the drive to move somewhere where they can network with people, right? Whereas the other person who's born into it, he's comfortable. He's comfortable with it. He's comfortable where he's at. He doesn't have to do nothing. He's set for life. You know what I'm saying? So never compare yourself to another person. And I feel like these things that I talked about in this video is the very reason why I feel like a lot of young men are far behind in today's society. But don't compare yourself, people. Everybody stay safe. Have a good one.